Hello, everybody. I hope you could hear me and see me. This is our first shot at doing a webinar. And I want to introduce you to my grandfather back here. My name is Mike Joyce. My family owns Gulfcoast Coin and Jewelry. And tonight, my job is to teach you to become a better consumer. It's that simple. We're going to start with several different items, what I call the 5 keys to investing in precious metals. And it's pretty much straightforward stuff. People make it much harder than it has to be. So just follow along with me and we'll go through it. The first item is, what's the spot price of gold? It's on the news in the morning, it's in the newspaper, it's printed on the financial channels. But what actually is the spot price of gold? All it is a hypothetical number that trades on paper. What does that mean? Gold, silver, precious metals prices trade on paper with stockbrokers, with commodity brokers. It has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about. They deal on paper. We deal in physical, hardcore metal. They can carry $1 million of gold in their briefcase. To get $1 million worth of gold, you have to be a weightlifter. It's that heavy. I get a kick out of watching these movies when they're transporting all this stuff all over the place. Gold and silver are extremely heavy items. We are dealing with physical precious metals. Spot price of gold trades in many different areas. I like to use the analogy of the globe. And it trades first when we're waking up in London. Then it goes to New York. Then the prices go to Chicago. The prices, as the sun goes around the world, the spot price of the metals changes in different exchanges all over the world. We use the spot price or the price that is best for us. Typically, it's the New York City spot price that we use. The only reason I bring it up is because I've been home in the afternoon and I call one of these online guys or on TV guys. I know what spot price of gold is, and they're $20 higher, but they're telling me they're discounting their coins. Well, the first question you have to ask is, what spot are you using to compare apples to apples? Now, the spot may be a little bit different from here to there. God knows I sit in front of 4 screens all day long. I call some of the biggest gold dealers in the world, and one may be a little different than another one, but it's all relatively close. But by knowing to ask that question, that puts the other guy on notice that you at least have the first question of an intelligent conversation. What is the spot price of gold? We're going to use 1870 in this conversation. There's a bid price, there's an ask price. If I'm buying from you, I'm bidding to get your business. So I'm using the bid price. Can we get this first? Get this up?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you a screen that gives a couple of hours ago the prices of gold and silver, but I want you to realize that there's a bid price and there's an ask price. If I'm buying gold from you, I'm using the bid price. Now up on the screen, you're going to see 1722.80. That's the price I'm going to use to buy from you. If you want to buy gold from me, I'm using the ask price. It's very similar to the stock market. There's always a bid and an ask for every metal, for every product. So you just have to ask, is that the ask price? Is that the bid price? At least be aware of what's going on. You can see by this screen that gold took a big hit today, $47. Silver took a big hit, $1.18. I wish I owned a rhodium in the morning. That went up $1,500 an ounce, but that's the way it is. Some days you're a winner and some days you're a loser. People come in the store. Let's go back. People come in the store and they have their computers in their hand and they try to explain to me what the spot prices are. Well, yes, they have spot prices on their phone. We pay a fortune to have up to the minute, up to the second prices on our machines, so we're that up to date on the pricing. So there are differences in the prices because of the time lag coming off the exchanges as to when you get the prices. So I just wanted to explain what the difference in spots to different people are, because it always seems to be a heated debate in the coin shop. I have a different spot than you. Well, I'm going to pick up the phone and make a trade, and the guy on the other end of the phone is going to have a different spot. Shouldn't be much. but it's still different. So that's nothing to get upset about. And at the end of the day, it comes down to trust. If you don't trust the dealer you're doing business with as to what the spot price is, you've got a problem, because he's doing the best to earn your business. And he better be straightforward because you're dealing with your hard-earned money. So it better be right. The next item on the keys to investing is the premium. Now, this probably is the most important aspect of what you should know when spending your money, simply because the premiums are changing like crazy all the time because of supply and demand. It's a completely different item than the spot prices. We're done with the spot prices. We're going to use 17. I think we're going to use 1750 as a spot. But now we're going to talk about each product and what each product costs. And it's a changing number due to supply and demand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull out the most popularly traded products, and I'm going to go over them. And the first one is going to be, and I'm going to try to put this up, but hopefully we're going to get pictures next time we do this. This is the South African Krugerrand. You can see it pretty good. This is probably the oldest bullion coin. I saw these coins in 1975. They're 1 ounce, 22 karat. For all intents and purposes, it's 1 ounce of pure gold. These coins, using 1750 as the spot, these coins bid at $40 over spot, and their ask is $65 over spot. So if you were to sell me the coins, I'd be paying $40 over. If you asked me to sell you the coins, I'm selling them to you at $65 over. Now, that 40 and 65 is so high, everybody's mad about it, including myself. The fact of the matter is, when I first started in business, it used to be about the $10, $20 rule. I bought your coins at $10 over spot, and I sold you my coins at $20 over spot. That went on for years. Why is it different today? We're going to get into that in a few minutes, but it definitely is different. The next coin is the Canadian Maple Leaf. This is my favorite coin. This is the coin that I personally buy all the time. And why? Because the Canadians do a great job of making their coins, marketing their coins, always being available. The premiums are lower. And again, the word premium is going to keep coming up all the time. And you have to manage this concept, because when you go into a place to buy, if you've never done it before, you're pretty much the lamb going to slaughter. You need to know what the spot is. You need to know what the premium is, and then you could shop. The premium on Canadian Maple Leafs 1 ounce coins is $50 over spot to buy, for me to buy from you, and I'm going to sell them to you at $75 over spot. That's the highest, I've ever seen, because there's none around. And I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. Why is there no gold and silver around? We're going to discuss that in a minute. Right now, I just want to give you a feel for how ridiculous these prices are, how high they are on a premium, and they're so high because there's none around. The third coin is the most popular coin in the world, second to none, is the American Eagle. This coin we started making in 1986, 1 ounce, pure gold, great American product. It's the most expensive coin made. It cost $125 over spot to buy. Excuse me. It cost $96 for you to sell to me, the bid. The ask is $140 over spot. We used to buy them at 2% over spot and sell them at 3% over spot. That went on for years. Just now it's ridiculous because of what we're going through. I wanted to quote 1 ounce gold bars because they are the lowest premium item or product in the gold field. They cost you about $45 over spot, and I buy them for about $25 over spot. But there's inherent problems with 1 ounce gold bars, so you have to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. First, now gold bars are in vogue because the refineries have got it down to a science where they're refining pure gold, they're in protected caches, they're numbered, and the refineries are producing really, really good product. In the old days, people were making them in private mints and all over the place, so you couldn't bet your life that you were getting 4 nines gold, pure gold. Now you can. There's normally there's a Swiss trained in this stuff. Now uh, the Perth mint is making them. There's a lot of different mints that are making really high quality products, so you don't have to be scared of gold bars. The next item in gold is kind of a weird deal, simply because it has to do with confiscation. If you're old enough and you read enough, you're going to read that 1933, the government took our gold away. People that are from Europe, where they've been buying and dealing in gold for years, are more inclined to buy these coins because they're scared the government is going to take our assets. In Europe, they've been scared of the government since the Romans. In America, we revere the government and we haven't felt the dishonesty that has occurred in other governments. We're starting to feel it now, I think. Having said that, there's a lot of people that would rather buy United States pre-1933 gold coins than the bullion coins I just went over. And most of them look similar to this. These are $20 gold pieces that our government made. I mean, there was a point in time when our government made gold coins and they were distributed throughout the country. It was commonplace to go into the bank and get $20 gold pieces. Of course, those days are gone. I don't have a bid and an, well, I do have a bid and ask on all the gold coins, and it's easy to do, but I feel that if you're a new buyer of gold, you should stick with the bullion coins because the premium is lower. But once you start buying the coins and you go to a coin shop and you go to a coin show and you start talking to your buddies about it, and all of a sudden this stuff becomes second nature to you, the premiums, the spots, the deliveries. You're starting to learn how to deal with this stuff like buying a shirt. You know what size you want. You know what size the sleeve length is. You're getting familiar with it. You don't feel uncomfortable. That's when you may want to start asking more questions about pre-1933 gold. And it's just not the United States coins. I mean, during World War II, we sent our guys up in the airplanes, bombing the different countries. And before they went up, they took British sovereigns. They weigh 0.2354 of an ounce, Swiss 20 francs, all kinds of European coins. So if the plane went down, they had something in their pocket to bribe the farmers and put them up overnight so they could hide from the Germans. So these coins have been around a long time. I mean, this isn't anything new to Europeans. It's just new to us. So it's kind of a weird deal that you got to get acclimated to, but it's easy if you just pay attention. Next is silver. I like silver. I think it's cheap. When gold was $800, silver was $50. Now gold's, almost $1,800 and silver's still under 30. Got to be cheap. But it's the premium that hurts. We're going to use silver right now, the price of $26.50 for conversation purposes. The most popular coin in the world is the silver American Eagle. The Americans, everybody wants our product. It's a great product, but the government charges dearly for it. And it's almost worth it because when you sell it back, you get a lot of that money back. Having said that, the silver American Eagle, here's the coin. Almost forgot. It's coming out pretty good. Here it is. The American Silver Eagle, spot's $26.50. The bid price is $4.75 over spot. The ask price is $7.50 over spot. So you can see that it's very, very expensive. It used to be a couple of dollars over spot, but because of the hybrid situation we're in right now, that's what we're dealing with. The premium is outrageous, but if you want it, that's what you got to pay. The next popular coin is a Canadian maple leaf. Let me show you the maple leaf side of it. 1 ounce of pure silver. Exactly the same coin, not as popular, but here's the premium. The bid price is $2.75 over compared to $4.75. The ask price is $5.25 over spot. compared to $7.50. Why? Government, that's what they charge. And the American product is sold much more than the Canadian product. So I buy the Canadian product simply because it's cheaper, just as good. And when we get into a crazy market, and like in 1980, you're going to be selling it around the spot price of silver, probably. So who cares? But some people prefer to buy the American product, which I would prefer to do. But I mean, if it's going to cost me thousands of dollars to do it, I'm not doing it. So there's just things you've got to get used to doing. And there's not a best. People always ask me about the best. There's just not a best. There's a preferred. There's what works for you and your family, and that's what you got to figure out. Going along with the silver. Next is what I prefer to buy: United States dimes, quarters, and halves. 90% coins. I'm hoping some of you out there are old enough to remember this was our change. Dimes, quarters, and halves, 1964 and back. These coins are 90% silver. We were a powerhouse once. Then the government started, taking the silver out of the money. Now you can buy those coins at a premium, $1.50 over spot on the bid side, $3.50 on the ask side. To put that into other terms, for every dollar you would buy from me would be $21.45. A smaller premium than the other products I discussed, a lot smaller, but still more than it's ever been before, because people are just lining up every day to buy this stuff. So the premium's going through the roof. The thing that I like about the United States dimes, quarters, and halves are they haven't made these coins since 1964. So once they get sucked up, there's no more left. So the premium has to go up. So I prefer to buy those coins. But again, you may prefer the Canadian product or the United States product. A lot of people like private mint, which means the refinery, there was a refinery down in Miami. They made 1 ounce, 10 ounce, and 100-ounce bars. These are the 10-ounce bars. Nice and small in your hand. These are the 100-ounce bars. They're big and heavy. And with anything in storage, and with anything in silver, there's a storage problem, always. But they're good products. Again, you can store 100-ounce bars real easy because they stack, and you have to figure that into the deal before you buy it. Silver bars, 85 cents over spot to $2 over spot on the bid side. If you come into a coin shop to buy them, they're going to be about $4 over spot to buy them. So there's different products, different prices, different premiums. So ask a lot of questions and look at the product. And I really don't like shopping by phone with particularly answering the questions with customers. I recommend going into your coin shop, asking the questions, putting the product in your hand, letting the dealer explain to you what each product is and looking at it and see what it is. Your frame of reference will be expanded so much faster by putting the product in your hand, so you'll know what you're talking about instead of asking a bunch of questions over the phone and you're not getting the proper education. Last but not least in the products is platinum. It's a thin market, but it's coming into its heyday because the governments are starting to make really good products. The United States is the one product, the American Eagle. For 1 ounce coin on the bid side, they're $115 over spot. On the sell side, they're $160 over spot. I've seen them as high as $250 over spot because the government didn't make them for a couple of months. You've got to remember these government products are subject to the government making the product. So therefore, the premium's going to change. Again, getting back to why I like Canadian products, the same 1 ounce coin, the same thing. On the bid side is $70, but more importantly, on the ask side, it's $90 as compared to $160 for the American product. Again, you pick out which one you want. I'm just telling you which the most liquid products out there. Okay, the next aspect of investing is what's the commission from the dealer? I mean, what am I making? I think it's a fair question to ask anybody, because hopefully after the seminar, you're going to be asking, what's the spot price? What's the premium? What's the commission? What's the delivery? And what's the buyback? Commission. It's going to vary, and it should. We deal in units, just like the stock market. A unit of stock is usually 100 shares. In the coin business, it's usually 10 ounces of gold or 100 ounces of silver. It's come down quite a bit because there's so many people coming in the coin shops. Keep in mind, if I buy gold, I've got to be buying probably 20 to 30 ounces, the least. That's the least amount I could buy. Silver is usually 500 to 1,000 ounces. So Gulfcoast, at the end of the day, with these prices I've been telling you, tries to broker the coins at 1% commission. So you could ask me exactly what the spot price is, what the premium of the product that you're interested in is, and how much I'm making. And we could figure it all out. As far as silver goes, the same formula is applicable, where we're going to figure out what the spot price is, what the premium is for your product, and what I'm making, which is normally 50 cents an ounce for a unit. So that I'm giving you the formula that you could get on that phone. And you're sitting at home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you've got some guy on the TV telling you that he's selling you the stuff. I'm selling gold under spot. Well, I had to call him up. How much will you take? I'll take everything you've got. By the time he was done with the add-ons, the bait and switch, the adjectives, all the baloney, he was charging more than I was charging in my own business. But it's a bait and switch situation. They're hiding all these hidden fees in different areas: handling, insurance, delivery. You've got to ask the questions, because at the end of the day, it's the bottom line. Who cares how they come up with it? It's the bottom line of what you're paying and what you're spending your hard-earned money on. I have here in my notes that I used to say this all the time. When you're talking to these salesmen, I always quote Billy Joel. I don't need any clever conversation. I really don't. Just give me the numbers, not the adjectives. And if you're old enough to remember the two policemen from Dragnet, just give me the facts. I don't want all the BS. Just tell me what it cost and how you arrived at it, and I'm good at that. The next aspect is delivery, and it's a big problem right now. And it has been a problem in most big precious metals bubbles, so to speak. All of a sudden, the metals start getting real high, and there's a shortage of metals. Right now, there's a shortage of metals that's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And that's why the premiums are so high. I mean, if you think about it, in a normal market, everything, there's plenty of product around. By the time the checks clear, the banks clear, we're paid in good funds, I could deliver whatever I sold you. That went on for 30 years. Now,
Mr. Joyce, how do we pay for this metal?
Okay, I'm gonna get that in a second.
Okay.
In a normal market, people write us a check, we let it clear through the banking system, and when it's all cleared through, we deliver the metal. That's the normal way of doing it. Some people come in and pay cash and want it on the spot. We could accommodate that too. There's a problem with delays and deliveries, and I want to discuss why, because for some unknown reason, people feel that they just can't understand why there's a problem with delivery. The first thing is, I don't know if you heard about it, but it's COVID, the virus. That virus has made the mints, the government mints, cut their work staff in half, if not close it all down. So if no product is being made, and all of a sudden there's something in the economy of the culture that's making everyone feel uneasy, and they're running to the coin shops to buy gold and silver, it gets soaked up. The demand becomes more than they're making. So the prices go up. It's that simple. The other thing is the private refineries. They had to let half their staff go. I know there was a long time here we had to let half the staff go. So everything was slowed down. Products, making the products. It's just a slower way of doing business. The United States Post Office, that's all slowed down. It took us about 2 weeks to get a check from Iowa the other day. I mean, everything is much slower than it was before, including making the product. And more importantly, or just as importantly, is the weather. I mean, I have a friend in Texas, they couldn't get to their store. And then they have orders sitting there and they can't ship them because there's just too much snow. So if you put all these problems into the formula, delivery is a problem. Nobody wants it, but it's there. People are lining up in front of the coin shops like they never have before. The volume is unbelievable. but the product is very thin. So if someone is giving you a good explanation on how long it's going to take, they're telling you the truth.
Mr. Joyce,
Yes.
is there tax on this product?
There is sales tax. The government persecutes the little guy. Silver. If it's under 500 ounces, if you buy under 500 ounces and $500, excuse me, and it's a non-government, non-US product, there's 6.5% sales tax in the state of Florida. So, and it's not the coin dealers that made that up. That's our government. So you need to try to get over that threshold when you're buying it to save the 6.5%. But as we're talking about sales tax, there was an 8-year period that almost put me out of business. There was a Governor Martinez years ago. He got in and he just, said, okay, here's the deal. I'm taxing everything. So in one day, he just taxed everything. I mean, how do you do that when we're selling investments? They weren't taxing stocks and bonds, of course, but gold coins, they were, Anyway, the first week that Jeb Bush got in, they changed all that because somebody read that in the Constitution, no state shall levy a tax on money. But that's a whole nother issue. Yes, there could be sales tax problems. So it's a good question, and be careful about it. The next aspect after delivery is the buyback. Now, people, for some reason, feel I'm never going to sell my gold and silver. I'm buying this stuff. I'm never going to let it go. Baloney. I want to know when I'm going to sell it before I buy it. I'm not doing this for my health. I'm doing it to make money. I'm only doing it to protect my financial situation. I do not want inflation. Do you realize in 1980, I bought a CD that paid me 20% interest? My parents had CDs at 0.75% interest. How do you live on that? Inflation is the most horrible thing to a democracy there is. And our country with the debt, I don't know how they keep doing it. Many people feel there's inflation coming. Many people feel there might be a problem with the currency. The only reason you're going to own gold and silver is to protect yourself. And a lot of people feel that with what's going on in the world and what's going on in the United States government warrants protecting yourself. And if you're a student of history, you're going to know that throughout history, governments have come to an end because of whatever reason they want or whatever they did. They always screw around with the currency. Gold has withstood the test of time through all of that. You have it in your hand. Through time, people negotiate with it, but that's a whole nother story. The buyback is very important. When you buy the product, ask the guy at the end of the conversation, oh, by the way, what do you pay for this stuff? And you're going to see it's like when you buy your first fancy car. They give you a glass of champagne when you buy it, and then they don't want to talk to you when they have to fix it. The buyback is just as important as when they sell it to you, because if it goes up dramatically, you want out. You want out fast and you want good money. What are they going to pay you? And if there's a song and a dance and there's a bunch of adjectives, that's not where you want to do business. You want a figure. At Gulfcoast, I take the bid and the ask. I sit in front of these screens all day long. I find the highest buyer in the country. I got you into the market. I'm going to get you out. I find the guy that's paying top dollar and I broker it for 1%. And that's what I give you my word is going to happen. I can't tell you what the pricing is going to be because I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you this, we make 1%. We've been doing it a very, very long time, getting people in and out of the market. But it's a good question. And now that you have the 5 keys to investing, you really need to ask all those questions before you spend your hard-earned money. I'm almost through. People ask me a lot, what websites do you watch and how do you get your information? Well, I'm going to give you the websites. I'm going to put it up on the screen here after I'm done. I want to say the best website in the country is gulfcoastcoin.com, but it's not. There's like 10 websites out there that dedicate themselves to giving you information about buying gold and silver. You need to get a cross section of those websites. They're up on the screen. I hope y'all can see them. I follow this Jim Mindset right there. He was the attorney for Bunker Hunt in 1980. I mean, can you imagine? Bunker Hunt ran the market up to $50 and he was the attorney doing it all. He's got some really good, insightful information. These other websites are really, really good because they give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I will not read anybody's article that's telling me gold's going to $5,000. All they want to do is sell you something. I want someone telling me when it's going to crash, it's not going to be worth $10, so I could get out. You want to read the good, the bad, the ugly. You want to have a liberal, the complete Megillah before you invest your money, and do it before you spend your money. We're going to put this back up, and I'm going to have my email on it and my cell phone in case you have any questions later. Okay, I'm at the point of the webinar to ask questions. I don't see any popping up in front of me. Okay, what's the government's requirement of a dealer when someone wants to sell? Okay, first, if you come into my stores and you want to buy $1 million worth of gold, the government has nothing to do with it. The government doesn't care how much you spend to buy it. It's when you sell it that they want their taxes. So the only thing when you're buying it to be concerned about is the cash end of it. If you spend, there's a money laundering law that you can't spend more than $10,000. Or, of course you can. We've had people do it all the time, but they fill out what they call an 8300 report. Nothing to it. It's no big deal. It's just telling the government that you had $10,000 in cash. It's a long story, but I won't tell it. But my father got mad at me one time about this $10,000 deal. And I went to the bank with him, and he couldn't get $10,000 out of the bank without filling out the paperwork. They put me in a separate room from my father because they thought I was extorting money from my father. And he just told, they kept asking, who's this guy in the other room? And he said, oh, that's my fat son. Anyway, when you sell it back to me, the government every year creates a shopping list of what they want reported. Back in the old days, it was very liberal where it was, 50 ounces of gold, 100 ounces of gold. So, it was pretty easy to maneuver. Now it's down to about 20 ounces of gold. 25 ounces of gold. How many ounces of silver?
1,000 ounces.
1,000 ounces of silver. If you sell a dealer, and I believe that's the requirement of the dealer, if you sell a dealer a large enough amount, the dealer has to get your social security number and report it to the government in the form of a 1099-B. That's the way it is. That's the federal law. And the government has made coin dealers into the policemen, and we have to fill that out, and we adhere to every letter of the law. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's about it. Let's see here. We're looking, scrolling down.
We're sending a copy of this webinar to everybody too.
Rare coins from Europe.
Okay, I don't know what this means. What about rare coins from Europe? What about them? They've got rare coins too, absolutely, but I don't know what you're asking me, or I would try to answer. If you want to email me, can you put my email up?
Sure, let me put that up.
Rare gold coins.
Yes, I buy rare gold coins. This was about bullion, and I'll bring it to a conclusion. And in concluding, I want to say that we started doing seminars about 20 years ago. And before COVID, of course, we have the gallery here and we have people come in and we can do all that. Now, doing it on the computer is a little bit difficult for us, but we're going to try to keep doing it. I started doing this and I said that I would not make it a commercial for Gulfcoast Coin and Jewelry because that's not what I wanted to do. What I tried to do tonight is give you 5 different keys to investing in precious metals, making you an educated consumer, an educated shopper. You have the tools now to ask the better questions when you shop for precious metals. I felt that if I helped you shop, I could earn your business because you could see that a small mom and pop business out of Fort Myers, Florida, could be competitive with any of these guys that are on TV promising you all this baloney. Because at the end of the day, I look into it and it is baloney. So thank you very much for attending. I hope to hear from you. If you have any questions, my email is up there. My personal cell phone is up there. Call, email me, ask me whatever you want, and we'll get your questions answered. Thank you very much and good night.
They go.